The Washington Commanders made a surprise move and a surprise trade at a unique time. Now, this isn't that crazy. A lot of times before teams get to cuts or cut downs, they look at players in which, like, who are we going to keep, who aren't we going to keep, and they make a trade for some of those players. I did a video on the Seahawks trading for Michael Barrett for a 7th-round pick. Like, he was a 7th-round pick for a corner that they were probably going to cut. The Commanders trade is different, all right? And let's get into the specifics right here, right away. And then I'm going to tell you why, even though some of you are like, oh, no, I'm telling you why I'm excited at the same time. So here are the specifics. The Eagles have agreed to terms on a trade with the Commanders for wide receiver Jahan Dotson and a 5th-round pick in the 2025 draft in exchange for a 3rd-round pick and 2 7th-round picks in the 2025 draft. So a 5th-round pick is going out. Jahan Dotson is going out, and you are getting back a 3rd-round pick and 2 7th-round picks. This is Peter's second trade of the day. By the way, in case anyone was wondering, they also acquired kicker Cade York. Riley Patterson has been, see ya, let go. All right. Hey, maybe he'll end up playing back for the Lions again. That's what it seems to happen all the time. So, and that is for a 7th-round pick, conditional that Cade York plays at least 2 games for the Commanders. If he doesn't play 2 games for the Commanders, nothing. It's nothing, right? It's basically free. So it's a conditional pick. And by the way, they got 2 7th-rounders in this one. It's almost like they knew something was coming. So basically, if I'm doing weird math, which I like to do, all right, it sounds like you got a 3rd and a 7th for Dotson and a 5th. Does that make sense? And I don't think this is a bad trade. You weren't going to get back what his draft capital was. I don't think you were going to get that back. I mean, he was a 1st-round pick. You were never going to get a 1st-round pick back. So the fact that you get a 3rd-round pick back out of this is actually pretty good. But it wasn't working. It wasn't working. All right? Ben Standig of The Athletic put together a really good article on this talking about Jahan Dotson and how he just never got out of it. In fact, he said something that I thought was really, really good. All right, if you're looking at the movie Miracle, all right, studying the list, the puzzle assistant tells Brooks when he's looking at the roster of the movie Miracle, right, the Miracle on Ice, 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team, you're missing some of the best players. The future gold medal winning Brooks responds, I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones. And it became very apparent, I think, to me early on, but also as this offseason progressed, that Jahan Dotson may have been one of the most talented receivers on this roster, probably the 2nd most talented, maybe 3rd. All right, I got something for you on that later. But he wasn't the right player necessarily for this team. And what this shows is that you have a GM that is not afraid to make this team his team. You have a GM that's not afraid to do and help what the coach needs and what the coach wants. That's what I'm sitting here saying. All right? When we talk about Dotson, don't you think the downturn really began in his sophomore season, his 2nd year in the league? Many players, I get it, were underwhelming for the Commanders. I get that. You're 4-13. All right? But his funk lingered. It's kept going. All right? Under the new regime this year, Pro Bowl defensive tackles Jonathan Allen, all right, and Daron Payne, they discovered that extra gear. They were able to do that. Terry McLaurin has a childlike enthusiasm that's been popping in every single practice this year from what we're reading and what I'm seeing, right? It's amazing, all right? Everybody's talking about how McLaurin's going to have his best year ever. I'm very upset because before the whole new regime was here, we were sitting here in the board time, of the NFL playoffs and fantasy football season, and I traded Terry McLaurin. I traded him from my team. Now, I got a really good player in return, so I'm not feeling bad about that. But at the same time, I'm wondering, is Terry McLaurin going to be what we've always hoped? Because when I look and I see what Terry McLaurin is, this is a side tangent on this video, all he is a guy who keeps catching 70 passes for 1,000 yards no matter who his quarterback is. And Jaden Daniels, as a rookie, I think is going to be the best quarterback that Terry McLaurin's ever had. All right. But these are guys that are like showing what Dan Quinn preaches. All right. This is very interesting. Here's what Dan Quinn said. This is from an article. It said, you're going to see how we play. You're going to feel how we play. All right, that's what he said on the eve of training camp. He said, that's the first thing I can tell you, that you're going to see a great effort team, a competitive team playing fast and physical. We've seen that out there all spring, and I'm excited to see it here in camp. And he has been singing praises of other players. But you know who he's not singing the praises of? Jahan Dotson. What about those players who are struggling? Guys like Emmanuel Forbes Jr. or linebacker Jamin Davis, right? He still talks about their effort and their willingness to work. All right, when asked about Dotson, he won't even talk about him. He just says, I think we're right in the middle of a competition at wide receiver. Wouldn't even talk about him. All right, and when he finally did talk about him, here's what he said. He said, I think with all the guys that we're talking about at that spot, wide receiver, he said the urgency, the run game, the pass game, I do want to see with Jahan and with all the other guys really finding some competitive moments. Did he beat the defender even though the ball didn't go to that spot? I'm really trying to evaluate them with and without the ball. You know what that means? That means that consistently Jahan Dotson was not giving the effort in practice if the ball wasn't going to him. NFL defenses are too good. If you're not putting in the effort, they know they don't have to worry about you. They can focus somewhere else. But there's another player that this affects. When we look at the depth chart here in Washington, and we see right here, Terry McLaurin, Brown, Zacchaeus. All right, Zacchaeus, come down from there. Sorry, it's my Bible joke. All right, but Luke McCaffrey, hello, come on down. All right, you are our new slot wide receiver. Zacchaeus is not going to hold it down from him for very long. And that is what I love seeing, is that you're like, all right, you know what? It's fine. Terry McLaurin, Luke McCaffrey, get in here. Come on in here, all right? Because now he is going to very likely be getting a large amount of snaps, a large amount of looks at the wide receiver spot. And here's the thing. This wide receiver room, when you look at it, the talent from a name standpoint is not what it was when Dotson was here. So you're wondering, like, are you helping your quarterback, your rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels? And my answer is an emphatic yes. You are still helping him. You're going to help him more with whoever you draft with that third-round pick, whether it's an offensive lineman, whether it's a wide receiver, whether it's a defensive player. It doesn't matter, because he will hopefully bring more effort toward the game than apparently Dotson was. And you are helping him because if you are a quarterback, what you need most, what you need first and what you need foremost is a player that you can trust to run the route the way it's supposed to be run and run it well every single time. And he did not have that when it came to Jahan Dotson. And I'm also going to highlight one other thing in this video. All right, one other thing, and it is this man down here, Austin Ekeler. Look at him. All right, what we've known Austin Ekeler for a long time is, outside of Christian McCaffrey, the best pass-catching running back in the game. We saw that Rodriguez could catch passes last year. We even saw that Brian Robinson Jr. started to get involved in the pass-catching game. There is a world where you can have Robinson Jr. on the field at the same time as Ekeler. Ekeler flexes out into the wide receiver position, and he actually gets some snaps at wide receiver. This move immediately affects Luke McCaffrey, but it also affects Brian Robinson Jr. and Ekeler. Ekeler gets more snaps because he can be out there for more snaps, even at a wide receiver type role, and Brian Robinson Jr. can be out there more often because you want a good, big, powerful running back like that in your offense to be out there as much as possible. All right, that's all I got. I think it's a good move. You let me know. What do you think in the comments? Was it a good move? Does it make sense? Do you wish that there was more of an immediate return? Let us know. For more Commanders content, please keep watching this channel. Man, we love talking football. All right, see you on the next one. Hit that subscribe button. See ya.